Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hi, and welcome to today's episode. Today, I want to talk to you about personal branding, the personal side of branding, and the popularity of that type of business has been really apparent over the last 10 years. A business having a face that people can understand and relate to, and having that influencer type status attached to it, has created a new wave of marketing that has allowed for more than just a brand, but actually a person to be at the helm and to be considered as part of the brand, but in such a unique way that it has actually created a whole new way that consumers respond and purchase, especially online. If you think about the brands that we know and love, the big brands, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, even Amazon, all of these types of brands, Marks and Spencer's, any of those, they didn't have one person in front. Occasionally, they might try to have a mascot, which was a similar but not the same thing. But usually, these brands are one step removed from being a personal brand. They are a consumer brand, and it is something completely different. The person who owns them or founded them is not always known. And even when they are known, they're not the main focus. And quite often, those types of businesses might be completely co owned, or they may have a board of directors, or they may be a collection of people rather than one person. But when you build a business from the bottom up, from your kitchen table or your bedroom, or your spare summer house, or any of those types of things, you're actually just one person. And the rise of one person solopreneur type businesses has increased within the last few years, and nobody can deny that. With the rise of influencers and people actually being the face of a brand or beginning to create audiences based on the relatability of one person, this has made personal branding a really powerful marketing tool. Completely changed the way that consumers online consume and purchase, and completely changed the way in which the marketing world focus their attention, both for audience building but also in terms of sales and conversion. So, personal branding may seem like it isn't the best move for everybody. I've had many clients who, for whatever reason, whether it's personal reasons, they want to hide away from it, or they don't want to share that part of their personal life and they want to have some privacy and keep things separate, which I also understand. There's lots of reasons why you may not want a personal brand. And lots of the time when we discuss personal branding, it sounds like we're saying we want you to completely crack yourself open and share everything about yourself. And I'm a rubbish example because my personal brand literally is that I crack myself open, tell you everything that's going on, give you all of my vulnerable moments. I like to be transparent, but there's very little going on that you guys aren't aware of at any given time. So I'm a rubbish example. So don't use me as an example of personal branding, because there is a happy medium. You don't have to give all of your personal information away all of the time. You don't have to be as heart on your sleeve as potentially somebody like myself is. You do have the opportunity to do personal branding in a different way. I am going to use myself as an example in a good way of doing personal branding. And that is the way in which I built my company, the identity and my company name. So, there are super subtle little ideals that you will find about me, the person, all the way through my business. From my branding to the way that we talk, our tone of voice, our storytelling, the comedy aspects that we like to include, it's all incredibly intentional. And almost like my content pillars being sides of my personality, you can sometimes see a different mood switch or a different element to who I am throughout the entire framework of what we share online and in person. But on a really basic level, my business name, Beyond the Dawn, is obviously a play on my actual name. So that's my first kind of personal connection. But it also has a deeper connection than that. I have always, ever since I was a little girl, lived in a coastal town. I have never been more than 10 minutes away from a beach when at home. And when I was very little, all the way up until I was about 14 years old, I was no more than 2 minutes away from a beach because we were one street away from the promenade. That meant that in times of struggle, or in times of emotional regulation, sadness, trauma, confusion, just normal growing up stuff that we all go through as a child from that kind of 5 years to 14 years state. When you're trying to make sense of the world and you're trying to understand different things, I would go to the beach. I would sit at the beach and I would watch the sea. The sea in Blackpool is not great. It's more brown than it is blue. So the sea might not seem particularly inspiring. But what always was really inspiring, alongside the breeze, the cold coastal breeze, the smells of the sea, and the sounds of the sea, was the beautiful skies. Now, where we lived, we could see both dusk and dawn very, very easily. Yes, we were on the west coast, but that did not mean that the sky wasn't a beautiful pink early in the morning and that you couldn't see that from the beach if you were down there at just the right time, which regularly we were, because it was a nice place to be. And we used to go for walks around there and we'd get up early so that we could catch those beautiful sights. And even now, runners will make a concerted effort to get up early so that they can see those views from the prom or on the beach when the sun comes up. It's gorgeous. That is why Beyond the Dawn came to me. Very quickly after I decided to add that incredibly personal thing of mine into my business name, was I realized that the clients I was working with are just one step behind having a brand new business. Very rarely do people come to me and say, "Hey, Donnie, I've got an idea for a business, and before I go ahead and get set up, I'm coming to you so that we can discuss it and we can do my branding and we can get myself on the best foot." People come to me usually when they have a business idea that they've been trying to get on legs for 6, 12, sometimes 2 years. And they've realized that actually, I'm not a new business anymore. This is harder than I expected it was going to be. There are things that I think I should be doing, but I don't know what it is that I'm missing. And I'm at the place where I need to either figure this out or I need to give it up because it's not viable. Disclaimer, breaking news here. 99.9% of the time, it's not viable. They're almost always viable business ideas, and it's definitely that there is a lack of structure, understanding, or audience, which obviously is not going to be breaking news either, that is missing. And that's what we need to work on together to get things to where they need to be. And so often we do, and there are fantastic results, and that's great. But from my perspective, my clients are from beyond the dawn of their business. It's not brand new. It's not breaking light. It's beyond that. Just a smidge, just a tad. Maybe it's at midday. I don't know. But what it is it's just one step beyond that first point, that first breaking light. Of course, there are 1,000 really sentimental, poetic reasons that I could attach all of these things to my purpose. I want to bring light to the world. I want to be the light in the darkness. Like, there are so many things that work for this that truly fit how I feel and also fit our personal branding. Okay. Our font is called Sagittarius Signature. Okay, that's our brand font. I'm a Sagittarius. That's not an accident. Okay, so it doesn't get much more personal than the way in which we choose things when we're creating this business. This business is not just an independent business of me. It's definitely a slice of my soul that has been manifested and turned into something in real life. And our brand colours are the colours of the sky at dawn or dusk, depending on your perspective. And that's not an accident either. Okay, the way in which we conduct ourselves in our videos, the language that we use, it's all really intentional. So, of course, I'm not going to talk you through how you could make your personal brand right at this very moment. And you certainly shouldn't do it the exact same way that I've done it, because then it wouldn't be personal to you. But do think about those deeper meanings, those wells of little personality traits that you can put in there that don't necessarily require you to crack open all your vulnerability and tell everybody everything about yourself if you do want that privacy. But do give an element of who you are and what's important to you and what's maybe sentimental and emotive for you throughout the way that you're showing up online. Because I promise you'll have more punch, more impact, and people will relate and resonate with it so much easier if they feel like these things are things that allow them to get to know you and like really understand who you are as a person. So I hope this has been enjoyable, and I hope that if you haven't already got a fantastic brand up and running, you may have some ideas of how to do that. If you have already got a brand, you know, there are ideas there that you can pepper into your own situation. But until next time, I'll see you again.
If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.